All praises to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. And this is going to be a lesson talking about how people like to reject the laws of Yahweh, but then at the same time they complain about unrighteousness, they complain about wickedness. In fact, they complain in general. That's a disrespect in itself, that people in this world complain in general, but reject the laws of Yahweh every chance they get, man. And they're so strict to try and make sure that they keep all of Esau's laws, right? But then whenever anything goes wrong, they don't ever consider that maybe everything's going wrong because of the laws that actually govern the country that they live in. Right? And I'm going to get a few scriptures and then I'm going to carry on speaking, man. This is Proverbs chapter 28 and verse 4. They that forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law contend with them. So the way to contend with Esau is to actually keep the law, and that is the reason why he has not made the laws of Yahweh the law of the land, because a society where everyone keeps the law, right, benefits the children of Israel first before it benefits everyone else. And I'm going to explain why, right? If every single, and this is what you Christians don't understand, man, because you're dumb, right? There's not no nice way to explain it to you. You Christians are dumb, right? You don't know what you're talking about, right? And even let me go back to that first, in fact, right? Because they say, oh, the Bible's for everyone. Well, and if that's the case, why is it that the scriptures say they that forsake the law praise the wicked? So in a society where you don't keep the law, you're actually praising the wicked and giving strength unto the wicked people of the world, right? But such as keep the law, contend with them. So in a society where you keep the law of Yahweh, you're contending with the wicked. And that's why us, the Hebrew Israelites, right? By us just, even though we're not keeping all the laws perfectly right now, and we're keeping as many as we can to the best of our ability without trying to be over righteous and straining out ourselves, right? We're contending with Esau, man, because we're showing another way. Every time when people see us with a beard on their face, versus when they see Esau with a clean shaven face, they're like, oh, I wonder why they've got a beard. And then they see Esau with a clean shave, and they're like, oh, I wonder why he's got a clean. And they're starting to consider, oh, what's the reason why they do that? Every time where we're against LG, free T, H, I, J, K, element of P, alphabet, and rainbow in, and we find it absolutely disgusting. People are like, oh, I wonder why they find that disgusting. Every time we say that a man's allowed to have more than one wife, even though we're not doing it right now, every time we say a man's supposed to be able to have more than one wife, according to the Bible, that's allowing people to think and understand a different way to what Esau says, because Esau says have one wife. But here's the thing, in this society, right, I'd be considered as a bad man if I got 10 wives, yeah? But would they say I'm a bad man if I had a husband? No, they wouldn't. If would they say any man out there is a bad guy if he's got a husband? No, they wouldn't. They'd be like, there's nothing wrong with that. But isn't it funny how there's nothing wrong with a man having a husband, and everyone's just so liberal and open-minded about everything on this earth, apart from a man being able to have more than one wife? People are open-minded about, oh, it doesn't matter if that guy's 6'5", 250 pounds, and built like Brock Lesnar. He's a woman if he says he's a woman. In fact, what is a woman in life? Everyone's everyone and everyone's everything. If I want to be a woman, it's not none of your business. It's not hurting nobody. It's not hurting anybody in life. Well, okay then. What if a man wants to have 20,000 wives and he ain't hurting nobody? Have you does the law step in and say, nah, he ain't allowed to do that? Yes, it does. Why? Why not? Why are they getting involved? Because they've made laws to where, oh, if you want to be a LG, 3T, alphabet, and rainbow, that's your choice. We're not going to step in and decide whether it's right or wrong. But then when it comes to a man having multiple wives, they've stepped in and they've decided that it's wrong. They've stepped in and said, no, that's wrong. They haven't said it's legal. A man can have one wife if he wants to, and a man can have two. He can have 20,000. He can have five. He can have, you know. They haven't stepped in and said that's. They've stepped in and said that's wrong, because they're demons and they're wicked, man. But when it comes to being an alphabet and a rainbow, they'll make it legal because they know that people out there want to do that because they're wicked themselves. And they'll say there's nothing wrong with that. They haven't said, you know what, we're gonna say ourselves, nah, that's wrong, don't do it. But when it comes to a man having multiple wives, they step in and they say that's wrong. And I have to use this example because this world's so open and free and liberal about all kind of things. But when it comes to a man having multiple wives, that's just a big taboo. Because it gives strength to men. That's the reason why. You got these women out there doing challenges. Oh, I'm gonna get my legs spread open for 100 men tonight, and that's okay. So that's not. She didn't get arrested when she did that. Another woman out there talking about she want to do 1,000 men in a day. They don't get arrested when they do that. But a man decides to have 3 wives. Oh, he's going to jail now. Isn't it mad? Everyone just open minded about everything. Women can do men can do women's sports. So men was able to do women's sports. Men are literally allowed to hit a woman in a wrestling match with a German suplex and damn crush her whole spine, man. Men are allowed to say that he's a woman, train in a female combat sports and crush her skull with a punch with a right hand, man, with a mean cross before he's allowed to have multiple wives, which shows that in the kingdom we're definitely going to be having multiple wives, man. And before that, we're going to be, and I have to use that one because that seems to be the main thing that this world does not want to see men be able to do, because it takes away a lot of power from women, and it takes away a lot of power from Esau, and it would allow the nation of Israel to really increase vastly. Now, I said earlier, you Christians are dumb, and you don't understand that if in a society where everyone keeps the laws, the Israelites become the best nation on the earth. And I'm going to explain it and show it clearly. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1. And this is for brothers out there that don't know the doctrine and don't know these things. Like, don't let none of these Christians try and come and tell you what it is, man, about the Bible. They don't know what they're talking about. We know as Israelites, and you'll know if you learn these things, man, then they won't be able to tell you nothing. In a society where everyone keeps the laws, the Israelites naturally become the best because they are under the covenant. So Yahweh would look down from heaven and see, okay, everyone on the earth's righteous and they're trying to do the right thing. Okay, well, that means that the children of Israel are doing the right thing. I made a covenant with them, and now I'm going to do what I said I would do to them. I'm going to do what I said I would do for them if they keep the law. And here's the first thing that Yahweh said that he would do for the children of Israel if they kept the law. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe and to do all the commandments which commanded this day, that Yahweh thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. So even if every single other nation was keeping 100% of the laws, which they're never going to be able to do it, mind you, but I'm just using this as a hypothetical, even in a society where all nations were keeping 100% of the laws, because they are not the children of the covenant, right? Yahweh would set the Israelites above everyone else anyway. And that's the reason why these heathens don't want the laws of Yahweh to be put in effect, because they know this. You children of Israel, most of y'all don't know it, but we know. As we know it though. They don't want the laws of Yahweh to be pushed. They want a society where everyone don't keep the law. Because even just like how it's unfair, how if in a society where if everyone was keeping all the laws, the children of Israel become the top nation above everyone else, even though everyone else is keeping laws as well. Well, in a society where everyone's sinning and going off, the children of Israel still become the worst nation above everyone else, below everyone else. So we may as well strive to try and do the right thing more than we do the wrong thing, right? And that's going to be given to us as a gift from Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai. Anyway, now let me go Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken, meaning you're sinning and going off, unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I commanded this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So for all you crybabies out there that you want to say, oh, it's not fair that the children of Israel are the chosen, and that you're saying that they'd be above everyone else, even if everyone else was keeping the laws. That's not fair, is it? That sounds a bit partial, doesn't it? That sounds a bit inclusive. That sounds a bit like you're saying God's racist, are you? What you trying to say? You crybabies out there, man. Just like how you say it's not fair if everyone ain't equal to the Israelites, even if they're doing the same thing. Okay, well, is it fair that if when the Israelites are going off and sinning and everyone else is going off and sinning, that the Israelites become below everyone else? Is that fair? Verse 48. Right? Verse 48, man. Therefore Yahweh shall therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in want of all, and in nakedness and in the want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. So even in a society where everyone's sinning and going off, the Israelites are still cursed above everyone else, man. We don't just become. Let's get this, man. Verse 35: Yahweh shall smite thee in the knees and in the legs, and with a sore botch that cannot be healed, from the sole of thy foot unto the top of thy head. Yahweh shall bring thee and thy king which thou shalt set over thee unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb and a byword among all nations with Yahweh shall lead thee. So even in a society where everyone's breaking the laws and sinning and going off, the children of Israel still get it worst. But in a society where everyone's keeping the laws, the Israelites get it best. So if you understand that, it makes more sense for the children of Israel to try and strive to do the right thing, man. Now, some people say, oh, this guy, he don't know what he's talking about, man. Who's he? Who's he talking about, man? He don't know what he's talking about. Well, okay, I don't know what I'm talking about, but maybe Esdras, maybe he knew what he was talking about, because I ain't Esdras, so let's use what he said then, right? Second Ezra chapter 3 and verse 28. Are their deeds then any better that inhabit Babylon, that they should therefore have the dominion over Zion? So what's Ezra's saying? He's saying, okay, so we've been brought in captivity under these people of Babylon. Are they then living any better than how we was living? Because we're their slaves now, right? So surely they must be living better than us. Surely they must be living in a more righteous way than what the children of Israel lived. Verse 29, for when I came hither, meaning when I landed in Babylon, right, and had seen impieties without number, then my soul saw many evildoers in this 30th year. So he came there and he was like, yo, these people are going off though. And the same things that we're being judged for and ended up as slaves for, these people are doing them. Adultery, bearing false witness, stealing, lying, worshipping false idols, committing adultery, covetousness, eating pigs, eating shellfish, eating abominations, eating rat, all kind of things they would have been doing, man. Bearing false witness, all the 10 commandments, they would have been breaking all of those. Breaking the Sabbath, they would have been doing all of it, man. Cutting off their beard, doing all kind of mad shape-ups and all kind of stuff they would have been doing. Right? Ezra saw them doing all of that. But we was being punished as Israelites for sinning. We literally got sieged, man. We got sieged off, cut off from food for a year and a half, roughly, if I'm not mistaken, as the history goes, man, of the children of Israel. We got cut off for like a year plus and starved out, man, to the point where people in the land of Israel were eating each other. Cannibalism, man. But we went through all of that. But then when we get to Babylon, they're doing the things that we was doing to end up there in the first place. Is that fair? No, it's not. But who cares, man? Because we've got it rigged for our winning. Right? Last bit of verse 29, so that my heart failed me, because Ezra was like, man, rah, that's mad. We was going off, right? But now we've ended up in the captivity to a people that are going off. Do you know what I mean? And that's what we feel like now under Esau. Because we understand, man, we ended up going through the Atlantic slave trade, ended up going through all these things, and now we're in captivity, but we're under a people that are wicked themselves. It's not like we went under captivity and then we ended up and we was more amongst the most righteous people and was like, oh man, damn, we deserve to be here under these people that are so wicked, that are so righteous, man. I'm shamed, man. Man, we don't even deserve to be Israelites. Esau would have been a way better. You know what? The scripture should have said, as it is written, Jacob have I hated and Esau have I loved, because these Edomites are so righteous. No, these Edomites are wicked demons. Yet we're still under them in captivity, but they're wicked themselves, man. So everything I said, Ezra said it before I was even born, decades, centuries, millennia. before I was even born, man. He already understood this. I'm saying it way after. And many other people have said the same, have understood the same conclusion. In a society, and I'm going to say it again, in a society, right, on the earth, right, if every single nation was keeping all of the laws, the Israelites end up still being the best nation above everyone else because they've got the covenant. But in a society where everyone's sinning and going off, kind of like what we're living in right now, right? Exactly like we're living in right now. Everyone's sinning and going off in this society right now. Yet the children of Israel, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, we're at the bottom somehow, for some reason. But everyone's going off. And that's because we've got the covenant with Yahweh. Verse 30. For I have seen how thou sufferest them sinning. Right? Yahweh suffers them sinning. But did he suffer us sinning? Well, partially, right? But then eventually he was like, nah, I've had enough. Now I'm gonna send the enemy against you. But when he ain't sent an enemy against Esau yet, though. And Esau stays going off and sinning, man, to the point where, according to Psalm 50 and 60, 50th chapter, from verse 16 to like verse 21, Esau thinks that he's like Yahweh. That's how much Esau's been allowed to have freedom to go off, that he actually thinks he's like the Lord, man. He actually thinks that he understands Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and like, yeah, I kind of handle things like how Yahweh handles it. He actually thinks that in his pride, man. I've got a right and a left. That's why he always, oh, that's the right, oh, that's the left. Oh, that's not me, dude. That's the left. He actually tries to think he can do that. Because he thinks he's the Lord, man, and he's not. Verse 34, I have seen how thou sufferest them sinning, and hast spared wicked doers, and hast destroyed thy people. So we're destroyed as Israelites, right? Yet the people that we're underneath as captives, they're wicked. And they are doing all the same things that we did to end up in captivity. Isn't that mad? Esau always talks all this, oh, we civilized you. No, you didn't civilize nothing. Because if we did the same things to you that you did to us, you wouldn't call it being civilized, would you? If we did the same things to your nation as what you did to our nation to so-called civilize us, you wouldn't feel like you're more civilized after it was done to you, would you? So therefore, it's not civilizing. You Edomites can't even handle somebody coming over to your country and speaking a language that you don't understand. You bug out over that. Oh, we speak English here, mate. We speak English here. How about you shut the... Yo. They ain't even... A heathen cannot even be talking to you. And you're still bug out that they're speaking another language that you can't understand. It's rude. It's rude. I can't understand what this... Well, you're not talking to them. You don't need to understand what they're saying. They're not even talking to you, man. But then when you Edomites go over to another country, you don't learn the language before you go over there. Neither do you want to learn the language if you live there, neither really. You'll be talking to a taxi driver, you take me to market, rum, drivey, you beepy, takey me there. Price too high, price too low. You don't try and learn language. You'll turn on your phone and do a Google Translate text to speech. So don't try and go on like you're just so righteous, man, because you're not, man, Esau. Let's carry on reading this, man. I'm getting annoyed thinking about you Edomites and you heathens. Like, even when I saw that video that Apostle Tahar put up of the whole food, Indian street food thing, the heathen street food video that he put up, and it was mostly Elam, that food was absolutely disgusting. But imagine, we've been under that nation in captivity before, and you think that they weren't doing that then? You think that they only just started cooking food on a madness way like that now, in the end of days? No, they would have been doing that stuff back then, man. In the Persian Empire, they would have been doing all that. Back then, they would have been doing it, man. That stuff would have been going on in Babylon too. Verse 31, I do not remember how this way may be left. Are they then of Babylon better than they of Zion? And the answer to that is absolutely not. They are not better than us because they're sinning and going off. Or, in fact, here's another thing that you Christians like to try and run your mouths about and say, oh, the children of Israel were so wicked and they kept on sinning. They kept sinning and going off. Okay, which countries' laws were they keeping? Which countries' customs were they keeping in order for them to become sinners? Wouldn't it not have been one of the Gentile nations that they was copying every single time that they was considered as sinning and going off, in order for the Messiah Yahushua to have had to die for their sins anyway? which further shows that Yahushua didn't come and die for all these other nations, because all these other nations was always keeping those ways that were considered sinning, because that was just what they considered as the ways of their nation. But Yahushua wasn't sent to correct and to die for the sin for that way that they was doing, because that way for those nations is not considered sin because that's their customs. Yet they are sinning because they're going off and they're not keeping the way that Yahweh says is righteous. But like I said before, in a society where everyone's keeping the laws, the children of Israel naturally will be brought on high above all the nations on the earth, Deuteronomy 28 and verse 1. But in a society where everyone's sinning and going off, the children of Israel naturally become the bottom nation. And in a world where people can live as wickedly as they want, well, the man of sin, the men of sin, the men and the women of sin, the nation of sinners, Esau, Edom, the Edomites, Idumea, right? They end up being the top of all people. And that's why in the end days right now, where society is as wicked as it's ever been, Esau's ruling. Esau's the end of the world. And Jacob's going to be the beginning of it that followeth, man. Because when something ends, it always has a beginning. There's always a beginning at the end of something, man. Always. When a building gets demolished, okay, that building's demolished, but now the beginning part is we got to clean up the wreckage, and we got to rebuild something there. I built a building recently by where I live, got knocked down, and it's being replaced by another building right now. That building ended, but but there's gonna be the beginning. There's now the beginning of a new thing that's gonna follow it, man. Just like how Esau's kingdom's gonna end, and there's gonna be something that begins after that. Like kind of like how TV shows work, right? One episode ends, and another episode begins, man. That's how it goes, right? Verse 32. Or is there any other people that know of thee beside Israel? Is there any other nation out there that's calling on Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai? No, they ain't. Is there any other nation that speaks about the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? No, they ain't, man. Or what generation of soul believe that covenant, says Jacob? Is there any other nation on earth that's waiting for the new covenant? Hebrews 8 and 10. Jeremiah 31 and verse 33. Is there any other people on this earth that are waiting to have the laws put in their mind so that they can keep all of Yahweh's laws perfectly and become immortal? Is there any other doctrine out there that's got that as the overall thing what they're hoping for from a Messiah? No, there isn't. Only the Hebrew Israelites are speaking about that. The Christianity ain't even speaking about that. They don't speak about that. They don't talk about. They say, "Oh, that was the old covenant. That was the well, okay. What's the new one?" Because I'm getting tired of these people always quick to say what ain't going on, but never quick to say what is going on. What is it, man? You know how annoying it is to always be told that something ain't something, but never be told what is. It's annoying. It's real egregious, man. Verse 33, and yet their reward appeareth not, and their labor have no fruit, for I have gone here and there through the heathen. So just like how Solomon in his time went and did his social experiments, Ezra was doing his social experiments. Okay, let me go through these Babylonians and see what they're working with. Sinning, going off, adultery here, adultery there, false idols, stealing, robbery, wicked ass children that ain't been judged, R-wording going off, committing adultery, covetousness, sinning, eating abominations, all kind of things you would have seen, man. Not keeping the Day of Atonement, not keeping the Passover, stealing from their neighbor, right? All kind of madness. For I've gone here and there through the heathen, and I see that they flow in wealth and think not upon thy commandments. So Ezra was seeing that they was doing all these things going off, and yet their society still seeming to be able to keep all the wealth that they lost. Yet when we was going off as the children of Israel in the past, we lost all our wealth, man. They ended up taking us down and stole the wealth and took it back to Babylon with them. They took our wealth when we went off. But then when we got to their country and was around them, they were going off. We didn't get brought over there to be shown the error of our ways and be shown, okay, this nation that you're going to be underneath, they're going to be show you the real way out. You know them laws I told you to keep? They're doing them. No, when we got there, we would have seen them being wicked as hell, man. And we had to actually ended up advising all of these people. Daniel had to, even though it's mad, we got taken down by these heathens, but Daniel had to actually advise them on how to do things. Daniel actually had access to the God that could decipher dreams of men without even being told what the dream was. Yet that same God took us down for going off. But that country, that nation, and that people that we got taken down with by and brought into their land, they were going off. So if you think it's not fair that if in a society where everyone's keeping the laws, we end up above everyone else, okay, I could agree with that. But it's also not fair if you want to say that in a society where everyone's sinning, that the children of Israel end up less than everyone else, and you people don't have a problem with that. You'll be like, oh, but the laws was only given to the children of Israel. Okay, so then in a society where even if you keep the law, okay, it don't matter because the laws were only given to Israel. So even if you try and keep the law, it's not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of Yahweh that showeth mercy. Right? Romans chapter 4 and verse 16. Therefore it is of faith that it might be by grace. In fact, no, verse 14. For if they which are of the law be heirs, faith is made void and the promise made of none effect. So it's actually a good thing for us, the children of Israel, that it's not about the law that decides whether the heathen are going to be able to become heirs. It's actually good because that would have meant that they would have been able to, when we would have got taken down as part of the covenant, that Yahweh could have then ended up making them become heirs because they could have tried to keep the laws while they had us in captivity and stole our promise. So it's actually a good thing for our favor that that's the case. And it's done. It's when I read the verses that I'm going to read, you find that it's of deliberate. That's deliberate that it's done that way, so that it can be guaranteed that the covenant and the promises can be guaranteed to be given unto the seed of Abraham, the literal descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man, the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Verse 14, for if they which are of the law be heirs, faith is made void, and the promise made of none effect, because the law worketh wrath, for where no law is, there is no transgression. Therefore it is of faith, meaning it's a gift that is given, that it might be by grace, it's a gift that's given, to the end the promise might be sure to all the seed, to the specific descendants of Abraham, not to that only which is of the law. Not just because you're keeping the law, it's not going to be sure to you, but to that also which is of the faith of Abraham, who is the father of us all, every Israelite, man. And ultimately, every single Israelite is going to get this, showing the true mercy of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, man. The true mercy that Yahweh has, and which I'm going to go into that real quick. Romans chapter 9 and verse 23, and that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy which he hath afore prepared unto glory. All the children of Israel ultimately, but Christians will bug out when I read this, even us whom we have called, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles, and that's where they'll say, see, that's for us non-Israelite people. Verse 25, as he also saith in Hosea, I will call them my people which were not my people, and her beloved which was not beloved, meaning the children of Israel, man. We got called not the people. People are quick to tell us that we ain't an Israelite, but they're not quick to tell a small hat that he ain't one. They'll be quick to ask, the moment we say we're Israelite, where's your DNA? Where's your DNA? You done a DNA test. You done a DNA test. A small hat grabs one of them stupid tea cozies, puts them on his head. I'm a Jew. Oh, I never knew. Mate. They could have seen one of them small hats every day of their life, just in normal clothes. The moment the guy shows up to where they normally see him one day, one of them stupid circles on their head. Oh, you never told me you was a Jew. I never knew, mate. Yeah, my mum's one. Oh, is she? That's interesting. Oh, yeah, because I heard it goes from the mum's side. They'll be agreeing with everything. But we say that we're one. Oh, nah, you're not. You're black. You're African American. You're Caribbean. You're West Indies. What are you talking about? You're African. Have you ever been? Well, say we're an Israelite. Have you ever been to Israel? Have you ever been to Israel? You ever been there? You ever been there? So how you saying you're from there then? And they'll think that they're so smart. But here's the thing. In the history of the Israelites, there was a time where Israelites was not born anywhere for 400 years apart from Egypt. Were they Egyptians then? Or were they Israelites? Since people think you're so smart. And you people will be quick to tell us that we're not Israelites because we weren't born in Israel, right? But some of you people will call us African. What if we weren't born in Africa? Because I weren't born in Africa. I was born in England, mate. So what am I then? But then you Edomites were quick to become talking about some. I mean, you know what I mean. Originally, there weren't no country called Africa. So what are you talking about? Originally, we came from a man called Israel. Originally, mate, and his father was originally Isaac, and his father was originally Abram, whose name was changed to Abraham. If you want to talk original, but they don't want to go there though, because they want to think they can tell us who we are in the Bible, but they don't want us to tell them who they are in the Bible. We can't tell them that they're that they're an Edomite, but they can tell us that we're not Israelite though. Isn't it funny? And then they want us to prove with our DNA who we are, but when have they even proved with their skin color that they're white? You know what I mean? When? Because when I look at their skin, when have they proved with our skin color that we're black? Because when I'm looking at my arm, I'm looking at my arm right now, it's brown, mate. And it always has been. There's never been a time my hand's been black. Even when had a tan, if I've been on a holiday way back in the past when I used to do those things, my skin was not black. It was very dark. It went a lot darker than it is now. But it wasn't black though. But they would accept me calling myself black. But the moment I say I'm an Israelite, oh mate, where's your idea about that? Oh no, you're not. No, you're not. What makes you think you're an Israelite? What makes anyone think they're an Israelite then? If you want to come with that. What makes anyone think they're an Israelite? Ask everyone that says they're an Israelite the same question. Then don't just ask me. Don't just ask us. Ask everyone that, but they don't want to do it though, do they? They don't want to do that. And this lesson's kind of went away from the original point, but it is what it is, man. This is all relevant. All of this is relevant. Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 4, the earth mourneth and fadeth away, the world languisheth and fadeth away, the haughty people of the earth do languish, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the Lord. So all you people that have got a problem with this earth, the men ain't ish no more, the men are not trying to holler at me. The men don't want to get to know the females. The men are not men anymore. Well, part of what would make men not be men anymore will be the things that men desire, their glory, being taken away from them. What's a man's glory? Wives, women. So if you make a society where a man's only supposed to have one wife, well, once he's got that one wife, his desire to do anything more to keep that one wife is going to go down. It's just going to naturally go down. But in a society where a man's allowed to have more than one wife, well, then he's going to start building up himself even more. Because now he's going to have to do something to be able to sustain having two wives. That's what's going to happen. Women in this society are not really as attractive as they should be. They're fat. And the ones that want to try and be attractive, they're too lazy to try and do it the natural way. So they just go and get surgery, man. To the point where I found out yesterday that there's a middle toe surgery, man. You can get your middle, if you got a long middle toe or a toe length, you can get a toe shortening surgery, man. Absolute madness. You can get your toes shrunk. You know what I mean? They're all kind of mad surgeries, man. You can get your cheek fat sucked out. Oh, I don't like that my face is a bit chubby. How about you go on a few walks, 10,000 steps, 5 times a week? I think you'll start to realize that your face will start to get a bit more chiseled, mate. Nah, I don't want to do that. I want my cheeks liposuction. Oh dear, were you an asshole? To put it plainly, to put it simplified, layman terms, man. Because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. The reason why this world is wicked as it is because they're not keeping the laws. And everyone's scared when it comes to Esau's laws, though. Like women will be quick to when they find out that men are getting their pockets completely strangled out from some child support or from some divorce. Oh, I didn't make the laws. It is what it is, though. It's just that's just the way how things go. But in the moment that a woman gets the same thing done to her, oh, men ain't men no more. Men are stealing. Oh, he ain't a real man. But I thought it's just the way how the laws go, though. Why you got an opinion all of a sudden now? It's a man going through it. And that's why like women think that Esau really gives two bleeps about them, and he don't care. Because if women started making on average more than men, all that would happen in Esau's mind is he's gonna be like, okay, I strained out all the men's money, but now women have started to make more money than the men. So now I'm gonna have to write in some new laws to drain out their money. So now men are gonna be able to get with them and do them out like how we was allowing the men to get done. Because we don't care about either side. All we want to do is drain their money. I don't care if this marriage breaks up and that woman destroys her whole family and takes them kids from that guy, even though he was a good father. I don't care. I want my percentage from that divorce. So I'm gonna tell her, yeah, he should be really helping you out, and he should be giving you a spouse. But I don't care if she gets supported as a spouse. I just want my percentage. And the fastest way for me to get my hands on that man's money was to give it to that stupid woman, because I know that stupid blithering idiot is gonna strain it out and give it back to my society and get some cosmetic surgery or something stupid. I don't care about I don't care if their whole family corrupts. I just want my percentage. That's what Esau thinks. He don't care. Verse 6, therefore have the curse devoured the earth, and the curses have devoured the earth. The curses, and it's the children of Israel being cursed, us being cursed. And that's what these people don't understand. Us being cursed has absolutely destroyed the world, right? Because when we're not cursed, what are we doing then? We're ruling over everyone. And we're making sure that they're not going off. So therefore, us not being cursed means that the earth's not going to be cursed, because we're going to be, you know what? Let's read it, man. Prophecy. Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it, and many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we'll walk in his paths, meaning that in that time, the blessing is going to be covering the earth. But right now, the curse is covering the earth, because the children of Israel are cursed, and therefore every other nation that doesn't care about keeping Yahweh's laws is allowed to just run wild and do whatever they want to do. Because they ain't going to try and be like, okay, so you're trying to tell me we're now leading and being able to control things and do things because the children of Israel are sinning? Okay, so it's not of a benefit for us to keep the laws, because it doesn't matter whether we do or don't keep them anyway, in the grand scheme of things. So we may as well not keep them, and also try and make sure that the children of Israel don't keep them, because if they do, then they're going to be able to rule over us again, and we don't want them to. But in the children of Israel not ruling over these other nations, the curse is covering the earth, because we're not keeping the laws properly now, because we're not under the new covenant. But then everybody else is completely rejecting it anyway, because they don't care to keep it, and they'd be scared that if they do start keeping it, then the children of Israel would start copying and emulating what they're doing, and in doing that, we'd end up back in our rightful position as number one. And that's why, as much as you Christians want to try and talk up your mouth about the Bible and think you know what you're talking about, you don't know. You just don't know what you're talking about, man. And we will walk in his paths, for out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. So that therefore, because the word of is not going from the law is not going forth from us right now, because we're not under the new covenant, the curse is covering the earth. We're cursed. And as that's happening, and we're now just in the bottom, and we're not able to rule over the earth that was given to us for inheritance for a fact as well, according to 2nd Ezra the 6th chapter, right? The earth's cursed, and it keeps getting worse and worse, because we're not there in our ruling position to tell people, yo, don't eat that pig, it's for something else. Don't eat those prawns, it's for something else. Don't eat these bugs, they're not supposed to be food. Those ones can be for food, but these ones can't. Keep the land Sabbath. Don't commit adultery with another man's wife. Don't covet. Stop being an LG3T. Stop being a T-bomb. Stop being an alphabet and a rainbower. Stop getting shape-ups and line-ups. Stop wearing mixed fabrics. Stop doing this. Stop doing that. Keep doing this. Keep doing that. You're supposed to do this way. You're supposed, because that's not happening. The curse is just devouring the earth, man. And then all you people on this earth, you want to complain. The only way for the world to be righteous is for Yahweh to come back, right, and give the children of Israel this and joint heirs as part of his kingdom, and rule over all you people, man. Because you can't do it yourself. You're not made for that purpose. We was made for that. And when it takes a long time to truly understand that we are the only people that are gonna rule, man. Everybody else is done for. They've made the curse devour the earth. Verse 4, and he shall judge among the nations, which is what I just said, and shall rebuke many people, which is also what I just said. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. We're going to take away war as being a thing from the earth. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. And part of the curse devouring the earth is going to be that Esau's love of the sword is spreaded around the earth as well. Let's get this, because this scripture that I'm about to read further goes into the curse devouring the earth. Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked birth rule, the people mourn. And everyone's mourning right now, but then they don't understand that the way to get rid of the mourning is for the children of Israel to rule over them. They don't want to accept that. They're trying to fight and fit. Oh no, it would be better if we just MOTB'd everyone. No, that would just make it even worse. That's what they don't get. Except they literally don't understand that the only way for there to be peace on earth is for the children of Israel to rule, man. They don't get it. Except those days should be shortened. There should be no flesh left to be saved, meaning that if Esau's society was to carry on, ultimately he'd end up just destroying his own self. We're the only ones that are worthy to rule, man. They're not worthy. Let's read this bit again about the curse devouring the earth. Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 6. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. And they're going to really be cursed, man, when that real plague of the ICBMs, Zechariah 14 and 12, consumes Babylon the Great in general, the whole place. But it's also going to start catching on. Other places are going to be set on fire too, man. Other places are going to catch it as well. There's going to be plenty of destruction because the children of Israel are not in their rightful position, man, and we're supposed to be ruling, man. Esau's tried it. He's had a chance. He flopped, man. He's been given a chance. Isaiah chapter 26 and verse 10, let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. In the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly, and will not behold the majesty of Yahweh. Now, people always say something along the lines of 1% or 10%. I forget what percentages that they say, man. 10%. Let's just go with 10%. 10% of the people on the earth rule. I think it's 1%, man. 1% of the people on the, let's say 5, meet in the middle, man. 5% of the people on the earth control 90% of the earth's wealth, and the rest of the people only have 10% between themselves. Well, okay, we the children of Israel are going to be a more righteous leader than Esau. So let's just say in the kingdom of heaven that the children of Israel covers like the same percentage. Let's just use it as an example, man, that we now become the 5%. We'd be like, okay, the former rulers only gave everyone else 10%. Well, we're more righteous than them. We'll give everyone else 30%. So that would mean right now, if you compare to now, that everyone else would be 3 times better off. You're trying to say that wouldn't make us a better earth ruler than Esau? A better earth ruler, man. Because everyone likes to talk about how Esau is such a good man and he's such a good ruler. So why is it only America that's doing good then? Or the so-called West? Why is every other country out there in the whole atmosphere completely destroyed, man? Why is it that everyone says, oh, where else is there to live better than America? Why is it everywhere else destroyed and it seems like only America's been able to have things nice then? That sounds deliberate to me. Because in the kingdom of heaven, everywhere else on the earth ain't going to be destroyed. They're not going to be living like how we live, because we're going to have the new covenant and keep the laws of Yahweh perfectly. But among a Moabite versus among an Ishmaelite, there's not going to be much difference. There might be a law. The Moabites might struggle with certain food laws compared to certain adulterous things or something like that Ishmael can deal with, right? Elam might have a bigger problem with adultery and trying to covet other men's wives than what the Hamites might have with making idols. But there's not going to be much difference between them nations in terms of lifestyle that they have, man. They're all going to understand that they're supposed to be keeping the laws, but they're going to struggle. And because they're all different nations that have different wants and needs and different things that they struggle with as a people, naturally within them, they're going to struggle with different laws that they're trying to keep, man. But they're all going to know what they're supposed to be doing, though. But among the children of Israel, we're going to perfectly keep all of them. So the Israelites are going to be the template of righteousness. There's not going to be nobody that's going to be able to find us as being hypocrites. Or you're saying keep all the laws, but when we look over at you, you're not doing it. There ain't going to be no files that go missing among the children of Israel. Or you're telling us not to do this, but what about the files? You're going to release the files? We ain't going to have no files, man. We ain't going to have no files that go missing and say we're going to release the files, but the files are gone. I can't believe it. There ain't going to be no files, man. There's going to be the laws of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. And I like talking about the kingdom, man. I like talking about the kingdom and how we're going to rule over you people because you need it. These heathens need to be ruled over. They say we need to be civilized. No, you lot need to be civilized, man. Because when we look at all you people that like to talk about how the children of Israel haven't kept the laws, are you keeping them? Oh, but that was only for the children of Israel. Okay, so were the blessings. So were the curses. But then you're quick to say, oh, but everyone's cursed. No, you can't have it both ways, man. You can't have it both ways, geezer. You're not the same as us, man. You're not. But you want to be, but you're not, though. And if you were, okay, keep the laws then. Oh, but that was only for the children of Israel. Okay, so were the blessings and the curses. And the blessings, and so is the new covenant only for the children of Israel. But you want to try and make that be for you. But it's not, though. And I think I've made the point, man. Like, everyone likes to complain about the laws, right, of the Heavenly Father, but they're quick to just bow down to every single law of this world right now. But they don't even consider that the laws of Yahweh would make this world better. If the law of adultery was done on this earth, it would force people to have to clean up their ways, man. It would get rid of a hell of a lot of all this divorce stuff. I tell you that right now. All this, what's the term that these wicked women use, man? Irreconcilable differences. If a woman knew that when she's trying to go and commit that adultery, that there's gonna be the whole town's gonna be waiting outside the door with a big pile of stones, 1 kilogram each, I think that she wouldn't commit that adultery, mate, and neither would the man that's committed the adultery with her. Don't you people know that adultery existing makes other men not trust other men? It would literally make men not even have friends to a certain degree and not be brotherly. Because they'll be like, if they're brotherly with another man, and like, oh yeah, I'll come to your house and help you with your farming today, and then you can come to my house and help me with my farming tomorrow. But he'll be scared that that man's gonna be trying to commit adultery with his wife. So he'll be like, you know what, you stay over in your farm, man, and don't even look at my farm. Don't look at my farm. In fact, don't even point your eyes in the direction of my house, man. Don't even look at me when you see me in public. Don't act like you don't know me, man. Cause I don't trust you. That's what it does. A man might like how a man is doing a certain thing. Oh, I like how your beard looks today. Oh, I like your shoes. Or I like your fringes, man. That looks cool, man. That outfit's cool, man. He might be like, nah, I ain't complimenting that guy. Because then that wicked ass woman is gonna think he's better and she's gonna try and commit adultery with him. And he might do it. And I'm going to be told that I'll have to get over it if my woman goes and deals with the next geezer, because adultery is legal in this society. But in a society where there's not adultery, where it's illegal, men wouldn't have a need to not be as brotherly with their own brother, because they know that they're not going to commit adultery. Neither somebody going to commit adultery on them. But in the case among the heathen, what they're going to experience is, even if adultery does get done, there's going to be righteous rulers, the children of Israel, that are going to give them justice for the crime of adultery being committed against them. If a woman gets R-worded, right, in the kingdom of heaven and she was betrothed, the children of Israel are going to find out who did that. Who did it? But the same way how we're going to do that, oh, you wearing mixed fabrics? Okay, the sin of mixed fabrics is not punishable unto death, but you're going to get judged in some way for it, man. You might start getting itchy skin or something, man. You might get some crazy eczema. Something's going to happen to you. Oh, you're eating pork? Didn't we tell you no pork, bruv? Now you're gonna get some weird parasite in your belly or something, man. Something's gonna happen. But all you people, you're quick to talk about the laws of Yahweh. Oh, this ain't doing nothing. This isn't what it is. This isn't right. This isn't right. Mate, is this society right? Is this society right? Women putting children in suitcases for a year, unalived in there. Is this society right? Is this society good? Who's happy around here? Who's happy in this world, really? I don't see nobody being happy down here. Who's happy? Everyone's talking about how the laws of God are so primitive and all that. Okay, so these laws of this world are supposedly better than, right? So why is nobody happy here? They're fake like they're happy and go on social media doing them stupid fish mouth poses, fronting like they got a big battery and that when they know the thing flat pancake mode, bro. But then here's the thing, when they realize that it's pancake mode, they don't say, you know what, I'm gonna do some squats and eat a bit more protein and carbs and change my diet a bit better. They go and get a BBL and then try and make fun out of another woman that doesn't have a BBL when not long ago she didn't feel like she was pretty because she didn't have a big bumper and all that you women want to be talking about, man. A man will try and make another man feel broke now because he don't have a nice car or he doesn't have this or he doesn't have that. But he doesn't talk about the dirty ass deal that he did to get that money now. He don't talk about the dirty on the table deeds that he did to get that wealth. He's just flexing the wealth. Because he don't want to talk about what he really did to get that, does he? You people have got a damn nerve to try and even dare out your mouths to try and talk about the laws of Yahweh, man. The laws of Yahweh is the way that the world is going to be made righteous. The laws of the Lord, the laws of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, is how the land of the children of Israel is going to become like the Garden of Eden according to Ezekiel 36th chapter. So how dare you people try and talk bad about the laws of Yahweh, man? We ain't keeping them all perfectly right now, but we're going to be though. We've got the hope that we're going to. Psalm chapter 19 and verse 7, the law of Yahweh is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of Yahweh is sure, making wise the simple. So if you got a society full of simple-minded people, like people like to quick time always try and say, oh, you black people are so stupid, you're so this. Okay, teach us the laws of Yahweh then. Since you're Christians, right? Teach when you so-called white Christians are talking about how bad we are as a people, how comes you don't say that we should be keeping the laws of Yahweh? How comes whenever you're trying to say what we should be doing, you don't say we should be keeping the laws of God? Oh, black people are this and they're criminal. Okay, should we be keeping the laws of Yahweh? Should we be keeping the laws of the Bible then? Or would you people try and say that we're wicked for keeping the laws of the Bible? Oh, but you're not a Jew. You're not a Jew, so you shouldn't be. How about you shut your mouth, man? Because you don't know what you're talking about. You Edomites are not even a quarter as smart as you think you are, man. And the proof that you're not as smart as you think you are is going to be when you physically see Yahweh Shai for the first time, and when we physically see Yahweh Shai for the first time, and when you realize that the image that you made seem as though it's the most weak and disgusting thing on the earth is actually the best image that you've ever seen in your life. A dark-skinned so-called black man. You Edomites, everyone got a clue how badly you messed up and should have picked your own cotton, man. You should have picked your own cotton. You shouldn't have tried to go through this planet you're going through with to make the MOTB mandatory. You shouldn't have, if you even still now, if you really have got the free will, you think, don't do it, man. Stop. What's that saying? Stop it. Get some help. Stop it. Get some help. You're playing. I said it in a video before. You Edomites are playing around with Obadiah 1 and 18. You are. But you're also playing around with Revelation 13, verse 9 to verse 10. You're also playing around with Hebrews 8 and 10. You're also playing around with Revelation 1 and 7, man, where Yahweh Shai returns. You're also playing around with 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, where Yahweh Shai returns, and it speaks about the return of Yahweh Shai in there as well. You're also playing around with Isaiah 47. You're playing around with Isaiah 63. You're playing around with Revelation 18. You're playing around with Isaiah 13. You're playing around with Isaiah 34th chapter. You're playing around with Jeremiah 49th chapter. You're playing around with Jeremiah 50th chapter. Right? You're playing around with Deuteronomy 30, verse 7. You're playing around with Deuteronomy 30, verse 6. You're playing around with 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, 45th verse to the end of the chapter, where the children of Israel become immortal. You're playing around in general. You're playing games, man. You're playing it round. You're just playing up the scene, man. You're not going to be able to escape what's going to happen to you. There's nothing you can do about it. We can literally tell you, don't do it, man. What was that Young Jesus song? Baby, don't do it. Baby, don't do it. We could tell you, we could sit you down, counsel you, you want to keep the kingdom. All right, don't do this. Don't. In fact, didn't Herod get advised by Israelites in the past? They literally told him what the prophecy says concerning where the Messiah is going to be born. And he had a plan. Okay, so the Messiah is going to be born in Bethlehem, Ephratah. So I'm going to go over there. I'm going to wipe the floor with them all. Yahushua was still able to escape, man. Angels were sent to Joseph. They escaped, fled to Egypt. You didn't get to do what you wanted to do. It's not up to you, Edomites, man. You can't do it. You can't do it, man. You ain't got it, man. You know, like when a guy thinks he's still... Roy Jones Jr. is a good guy to use an example, man. Roy Jones Jr. in his time was just the best, one of the best boxers ever to see you do it, man. But there came a point where he just couldn't do it no more, man. Man got knocked out by Enzo Maccarinelli, was getting flattened off, but he always just kept going back, thinking, I'm still Roy Jones, I'm this and I'm that. Fought Mike Tyson, Mike Tyson spared him, had the ultimate mercy on his ass. Could have knocked his head off, just decided to spare him, man. But he just kept thinking he could do it. That's you Edomites, man. You can't do it. You think you got it. You ain't. You know, you think, I've got one more fight in me. No, you haven't, man. You should have stayed. You're going to regret not just staying where you are now. When you're a decade into the kingdom of heaven, underneath as a slave in it, under the Israelites, you're going to regret all the decisions that you did from now. You're going to be like, man, we should have just kept it now. We should have just had AI, do a little thing here and there, and we should have just dwelt like this. You're going to regret not doing that. In a major way, man, you're going to regret it. But I think now, I'll read verse 8 as well, man. The statutes of Yahweh are right, rejoice in the heart. The commandment of Yahweh is poor. The commandment of Yahweh is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of Yahweh is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of Yahweh are true and righteous altogether. And what's part of the judgments of Yahweh are part of the things that he says is supposed to happen to you if you break his laws. It's part of the thing that says that's supposed to happen if a woman's being R-worded, man. But people will get him, is she supposed to become his wife? If that happens, well, what does it say? What happens in this society if a man sleeps with a woman consensually and she says that he did that? Oh, he owes 50. You owe her 50 million now, huh? The man could have. This society is wicked, you know. A man could have literally gave the woman. And I ain't trying to get too vulgar with it, man. But the man could have literally made the woman have the biggest smile on her face after he dealt with her, yeah. And then she says, nah, he didn't break me off with enough bread after that. I think I was R-worded. Or I know I wasn't R-worded. I think he R-worded me. And now we got to pay her bare money. But she really was pressuring him to sleep with her. That's how it can go in this world. But you know what, man? That's why when Yahweh starts bringing judgments on this earth, you people that don't believe in him and don't want him to rule over the world with his ways are going to get everything you deserve, man. Right? You're going to get everything you deserve when Yahweh starts to really shake this world down, man. Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.